Today on 10-Minute IT Jams, we're joined by Bassam Khan, who's the Worldwide Vice President of Product Marketing at Gigamon. Gigamon is a leading network visibility and traffic monitoring technology vendor. And Bassam joins us today to discuss with us a little bit more about the company and their role in the market. Thanks for joining us today, Bassam, and welcome to the Jam.
Great, Mitch. Thank you for having me, and it's wonderful to be here with everybody.
No worries. So just to start off, can you explain to our readers a little bit more about what Deep Observability Pipeline is?
Sure, happy to. So Deep Observability Pipeline is in a nutshell, a new set of telemetry that complements log files. So it basically provides insights derived from network traffic. Now, if you look at insights derived from network traffic, it comes from log files and it really hasn't evolved in the past 20-something years. That's where Deep Observability Pipeline comes in. It's, again, intelligence derived from the network using a technology called Deep Packet Inspection. If I might dive into the terms Deep Observability Pipeline, starting with observability. Observability basically is a non-intrusive operational telemetry. So it's basically the ability to measure internal states of a system by examining the outputs. Now, a little trivia fact here, the term observability, we hear a lot, but it started off a couple of hundred years ago from the introduction of the steam engine. The concept there was that you couldn't, in those days, look inside what's happening inside a steam engine because for obvious reasons. So you had to figure out what was really happening based on observation from the outside in. So the same concepts really applied around the modern cloud workloads. It's a little bit ironic. So that's the observability part. The deep part is knowing versus guessing. So it's knowing the true immutable facts from the network layer, because that's really what's taking place is the network communication from looking at it from outside. So that's deep observability. And the pipeline part, basically, it's an efficient information flow. So it's basically a set of automated processes, automated tools that allow developers, operations, and security personnel to be able to collaborate better based on this new telemetry, this new set of information that's coming in.
Fantastic. That's a great explanation. And what would you say your advice is to cloud users, given the growing demand for clouds and the associated security concerns there?
Ever-growing security concerns, because the threats are ever-growing and ever-changing. The biggest advice that we have is don't forget about the network. Do monitor network traffic, even if it's a pure cloud workload, and particularly if it's hybrid cloud or multi-cloud. We find a lot of IT tend to not pay attention to network traffic. Why? Because the initial thought is that, you know what, I don't need to worry about networking. I've moved from my data center to the public cloud. My network, my cloud service provider provides all of the networking uptime, network performance, network bandwidth. Those are all service level agreement level items, and they will deliver. That's well and true. However, that's a little bit like the saying, throwing away the baby with the bathwater, because the important part here is the knowledge and the additional insights that you can get from looking at intelligence derived from the network traffic, not necessarily the network traffic about, the network's condition itself. An example of that would be things like, is there somebody talking to somebody else that they shouldn't be talking to using some application they shouldn't be using, let's say. So security is something that is of top concern that a lot of our customers are finding now, and network traffic really provides a whole another set of security capabilities that the service provider, the cloud service provider, isn't able to meet. There's something called the shared security model that a lot of people have heard of, and that's the concept where the service provider will ensure that no one's going to break into the data center, no one's going to pick up a hard drive and walk away and steal all the information. So they provide, a certain level of security. But the application, the end-to-end application and the workload security, that is shared. So just as the service provider will not guarantee that your application will work perfectly, what they'll say is that your servers are responding fast, but the application end-to-end user experience is the app owner's responsibility. Just like that, ultimate security is the app owner's and the workload owner's responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And to what extent and how will Gigamon solutions enhance network and cloud security?
The way we help, Gigamon comes in and there's 3 or 4 different functions that we provide. The first one is access to network traffic. Now, it sounds really easy. I just plug in some networking somewhere, or my cloud service providers provide the capability. But the challenge is that there are almost all enterprises, large size enterprises, have multiple networks. Some systems running on premises, some systems running in virtual cloud, private cloud on premises, some running in public cloud, in multi-cloud, in containers, and variations of each one. And every single permutation has its own methodology for accessing network traffic, its own automation orchestration for scaling out that network traffic. Now, it gets harder and harder as the systems get more and more varied and more complex. So what Gigamon provides is we provide some unique access mechanism where our customers have just one place to go to simply by pointing Gigamon to that place, to that general area, and we will pick up all of the traffic. For example, if I write an application or developers write an application where nodes and container nodes and pods are popping in and out of existence, it's holiday season, people are using it more, ordering more services, more products. Gigamon's capability automatically picks up new nodes popping up, new instances of workloads, compute loads popping up, and the communication that happens. So this way, our customers get to not get in the way of developers by imposing friction, but much more so allowing them to do what they want, but still get that visibility that's so needed for security and so needed for performance and troubleshooting purposes.
Yeah, and what would you say are the strengths of your products that make customers choose Gigamon over the competition?
Yeah, so Gigamon is viewed as an innovator going back to mid-2000s when we were first founded as the first ever network packet broker in the market and just innovated into that space. That basically says we are the single platform that collects and centralizes and aggregates all of the data in motion for an organization, all the way to this deep observability pipeline that we just launched a couple of months ago. So the innovation, the value that we provide to our customer is probably the biggest driver for when we have conversations with our customers. We have a largest ecosystem. We are a bit of a Switzerland in the sense that we're not providing the end-to-end information, the analytics information rather. We're not providing dashboards and widgets. We let our customers use their favorite tools to be used for that. As a result, Gigamon is the most chosen product, and we're quite proud to say that we have more deployments than the next 2 or 3 competitors combined, at least according to a report by Ovum Analyst Group. So these are the reasons why Gigamon, we believe, has been quite popular out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to finish off, can you give us an example of threats or anomalies that have occurred or can occur, and how Gigamon solutions have prevented these?
Great point. So let me talk in 3 different terms. So there's threats, there's vulnerabilities, and there's sort of undesirable, unsafe, gray area types of practices. And also, if I might just rephrase the term from could have prevented to in hindsight, or we help prevent, because in the security world, anything can happen, even though you have all the right protection in place. So with that in mind, the biggest value that Gigamon provides is the elimination of blind spots. Blind spots is the ultimate enemy of security. Why? Because if I cannot see a part of the infrastructure, if I cannot see container to container communications, or somebody logged in inside my public cloud workload or inside my physical infrastructure and doing something and walking away, that side-to-side lateral movement is super important to monitor. And that's what we allow our partner tools to be able to make sure that they're seeing all of the traffic without any blind spots, because you cannot install all of these security tools in all of the traffic happening, particularly for east-west traffic. So we provide that east-west visibility for lateral movement. So that's on the threat side. So make sure that if something bad's happened, we're able to have our partners be able to expose that or discover that as quickly as possible. The second point is vulnerabilities. And this gets a little bit harder to figure out, harder to find. Why? Because There are lots of practices, let's say around encrypted traffic, that's using very weak ciphers or old certificates or self-signed certificates. And these are all practices that's still in use out there, but they're highly vulnerable. So you could have a surveillance camera that you bought several years ago, made by a questionable manufacturer, and that's using some really weak SSL ciphers, and that's talking in a way it shouldn't be, and that should not be allowed. And these are hard to find because every infrastructure is so spread around. It's hard to kind of get visibility to all of this. And the third category that I want to mention was undesirable activities. This could be anywhere from a little bit shadow IT or like Dropbox, or people using box.net to trade files when they should be using the corporate tools to be able to exchange files. This could be P2P activities like BitTorrent or other torrent type of activities. Or one of the things that we've heard quite a bit from our customers lately is crypto mining. Crypto mining is actually a thing. There was a Google study done recently, and they said anywhere between 60 to 86% of breaches, the first thing that the threat actor will do is they'll install cryptocurrency mining. Why? Because it's the shortest route from insertion to monetization, because they start mining for money right away. And this is a real concern that we've seen a lot of our customers have. That is something we provide not only visibility into, but also identify about 13 different crypto mining activities. So all of this put together is where Gigamon's customer really benefit in security for Gigamon.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a fantastic range of services there. Look, again, thanks so much for joining us today, Bassam. We really look forward to hearing more from Gigamon and what you guys get up to in the future.
I would love to engage. Thank you.